things on occasion, things come about that are almost incredible to accept. And I'm not talking about a UFO or ET. I'm not talking about those things. No, I'm talking about things that would rattle a Christian. It's kind of like when the History Channel first came out with their stories about these biblical tales. And they came out with they were talking about that cup of Christ's blood.
Yeah.
And they equated that to Christ having a wife and children. Well, that rattled. In fact, Pastor Paul, that day, it's almost like my heart dropped. I'm not. People can't. It's very difficult for them to bridle their own. The worst is if a person does not have self-control, spirit is barely standing, right? And so you have so many Christians who fly off the handle. They target one another, this, that, and the other. I know for a fact, with certain archaeological presentations, I'm talking about a presentation of presentations, a demonstration of demonstrations. The world's going to see some things. And Christians, how in the world are they going to make it through? Because they're constantly looking for proof. And if they don't begin to operate purely by faith now without proof, to stop this ideology, well, show me and then I'll believe. Believe the word of Christ now. I mean in full. Not speculate about it, but believe it. If they don't do that, begin to walk in that faith right now today, because God has been gracious giving us time, they're just not going to make it, because I perceive there's some very strong people out there that are going to be brought forward from this. But Pastor, there are millions that will fall away from this. This is a breaking point coming, a faith breaking point.
So it's coming soon.
I can't even describe it, Pastor. I can't even.
It's coming soon.
There's no way to communicate the magnitude of this and what it will cause. I'm just don't have weak faith. Even to the point of death, I don't have weak faith. I don't cry for myself, right? I don't do that. This made me say, how in the world what can anybody say? What can we say if a person does not have that security? Didn't build a relationship and do it for real. If they didn't sit down and evaluate themselves with Christ, if they're playing in any way with their salvation.
Well, it's true. And the Bible says Paul said to live is Christ, to die is gain. Now, when we say we're going to be, he that endures to the end, the same shall we say. There has to be a process where the Bible talks about the great woe. So there's some things coming in, and it's apparently what you were shown is one of this area then, uncovering things. Can you tell us what you mean by that?
Yeah, as Pastor, as we continue to see a change of forces of this planet, and as just like the meteorologists making up new names for some of the weather phenomena, have to. Different forces are being shown. People see brand new potentials from thunderstorms and from hurricanes and from tornadoes and from, like the average storm today that spanned from San Diego all the way to New York. That was one storm, not multiple storms. But the weight of water was dropping. Well, it was one of those impossible. And it formed yesterday also because of the heat. And we're supposed to go up 10 more degrees all throughout the U.S. 10 more degrees is a disaster regarding thunderstorms and things like that. We can't.
Hail.
Well, we're gonna find. So it's going to expose more and more vulnerability. You're looking at. You're going to find out that Google Maps, unless they have an agreement with the people, and I know that they're rushing the disclosure because things cannot be covered up, they're going to have to explain what's being uncovered. The earth is being uncovered. And as it's being uncovered, so the rest of the planet's being uncovered. And there are things being noticed right now with these other planets, with people who have the optic, looking at specifically the poles of these planets. They're noticing something that none of the explanations cover. And they're about to find out the earth is no different than them. It is the exact same thing, which changes how everybody's going to see this world, right? It's going to change everything. We're not going to see the world well, it's going to unmask itself.
And part of that's because the pole is shifting. Part of that is because the ice is melting.
We have a lot of ice. Be shifted. It's going to expose what's underneath the regolith, and of course, it's just not going to. It's going to be quite visible and shiny. On the moon, you have a bunch of craters where purportedly you had meteor impacts. Correct? Why do they have flat bottoms? You don't have a meteor impact with a flat bottom, right?
No.
That's impossible. That's ridiculous.
No.
It's not. We sent a nuclear bomb up there, did we not? To explode it on the surface of the moon. It echoed for 6 days. Why does it echo for 6 days? And yes, water came up and that spot where the bomb hit. It covered up from that explosion, right? During Obama's presidency. How did it get covered up? Because everybody that night was looking. Everybody was trying to see what it was. And how did the regolith move? What, somebody have a broom up there? Someone? Well, as these conditions change, things are going to be uncovered. People will start to see some to a lot of people. If the moon is not what people thought it was, how many people on the vaccine? How many people had to the point where they had heart attacks? Terrestrial zone. They're going to start imagining it's uncovered. They're not going to believe a word. They're not going to believe the government. This is what we have. They have to do that. Because if they don't, they're going to lose face with the populace. And nobody will believe them again. Take place, then you would have anarchy in the streets. Because once confidence is lost in the government, it's anarchy. The same thing.
Yeah, the ones that there's laboratories. I mean, you'll have to talk about that next week because I'm sitting around still having a migraine over that.
Is too much pressure down there? No. There's so many cavities in the Earth past, Paul. You wouldn't believe just what's been mapped underneath the East Coast. You wouldn't believe what's been mapped underneath the East Coast. What's underneath the ocean, you wouldn't believe it on the East Coast. It's a honeycomb system throughout the East Coast that is vast, enormous, and very deep. Very deep. So, that's just part of it. But I'm sure that as the days go forward and certain things are declassified and they drop the penalty of secrecy in certain areas, we'll be able to see some more things. Without, no speculation, there'll be actual things. But I think that'll help people a lot to get their minds in the right position and say, okay, let me stop playing around and theorizing, and let me walk this straight and narrow. Because I'll say it again, Pastor, the Sand King, he's walking right now. I'll say that the Sand King is walking right now. He's walking. They made a decision a few days ago. All countries did, and things will go forward. So look for massive changes. Certainly in policy. It'll have to happen. Look for massive changes in policy.
The Sand King is walking.
Oh, he's walking.
The governments have made a decision. We got to talk about that next week. We got to talk about that. Mike?
Yeah, I think we'll see some evidence towards that.
Okay, well, and good. That'll help us understand what you mean by that and what that means for all of us in these end times. People are going to give their life to Jesus Christ because in the game, look, it's running out of time, and the Lord is coming. And that's what Mike is trying to share with us, that it's time is running out, and the events that we're going to see will shake us to our core if we don't have Christ.